Alright guys, welcome to Paul Watch Garage. Today I'm just doing a quick video on hopefully a fix for my brakes. Whenever you buy a caliper and replace it, it comes with this new caliper bracket. And when the brakes are being actuated, you're supposed to have movement right here on both sides of this for the brakes and everything to slide back and forth. There's supposed to be movement. If you leave your old one on there, you have a chance of it locking up and not having any movement, and even when you let off the brakes are still mashing on the caliper or on the rotor. And when I put this on, I didn't want to take this bracket off because those bolts are a pain in the ass to get on, especially if you're just taking them off for the first time. The factory, for whatever reason, when I took the bolts out, has Loctite on them. I don't know why, but they're using Loctite on them. I don't use Loctite on it, but some of you might, but I don't. And it was a pain in the ass to get off, especially on your back with limited motion. So I just replaced this caliper, took the caliper bracket off. It came with it brand new off this caliper, and just put it on my old caliper so I wouldn't have to take this bracket off. And so I'm thinking there's no movement, as you can see. Well, I've actually got the bolts out and it's just hanging here. I'm fixing to lift this up and take it off and replace it with the new one that actually came with the kit. There's no side-to-side movement, and I'm thinking that's what's happening when I mash the brakes in. It's not allowing for any movement because it's these guide pins right here that go into the older, well, the new caliper bracket, but this is the older one, if it makes sense. There's no movement because they're so wallered out and got gum and debris and stuff in there. And I should replace the whole thing. So I'm just going to replace the whole thing, hoping that's what's causing it to bound up. I'll let you know once I do. If you're having the same problem and you don't feel like taking this caliper bracket off, or caliper mount bracket off, however you want to call it. Let's call it that for all intents and purposes. You know what I'm talking about. When you buy your caliper, it comes with this bracket also, the one I just showed you up there, the new one. And I took it off, used my vise and took it off because I didn't want to take this off because the bolts are a pain in the ass to get out. But it should be a little easier taking them out this time. But anyway, I'm just going to pull this up and hang it off to the side and take the brakes off and kind of look at them as I got everything out. And I did put on new clips in here, and I did actually grease these guide pins, I guess you could say. And but I noticed there was no movement whatsoever. It was just stuck there, and I'm thinking that might be the problem. If so, then I'll let you know. But I'll be able to tell as soon as I put the brakes on and let off, because I still get a scrubbing noise, as if the brakes are bad. That's what it sounds like. It only does it ever so often. But anyway, I'm going to get that this bracket off. There's just the two bolts in the back holding it on, and then you got the two bolts here holding the caliper on. And once you pop this off, you just slide the brakes out of the clips, and then there's two bolts in the back, and then this bracket comes off, and then you just replace everything in reverse. But anyway, let me get this changed out and we'll see if it fixed it. And I got a couple other videos coming up. One was a Rotor pedal throttle controller review after a month. Still not getting no traction even with those wide tires on the back, but they are radials. And all I was able to get is a 5.0, a 5.1, a 5.2. I did about 4 or 5 runs, so I just got frustrated. I am going to try to let some air out of the tire and see if I can get any better, but that's a whole nother video. But anyway, hopefully this works, and if I get it on, it works. I'll let you know either way. Maybe you're having the same problem, I don't know. Maybe you did the same thing I did and now you're having problems. But rotor's new, the calipers are new on both sides, rotor's new on both sides, brakes new on both sides. The only thing that's not new on this whole front brake conversion or replacement is this bracket. So that's the only thing it could be that I know of, other than replacing the lines. And I don't see what the lines would have to do with it unless one of them are clogged up or something, which they're not. But anyway, Paul Watch Garage, be back soon. Alright guys, got the old caliper bracket off. It has a little movement in it on both sides, but if you look at the difference in the new one, how much more fluent movement it is, it doesn't stick at all. I mean, the other one's about right there, maybe 50%. And as you can see, it's a huge difference in the space that you're getting. I mean, there's almost nothing there. So that's, maybe 50% of what I'm getting over here. But anyway, I'm going to replace it and see what happens. It didn't take much to take it off. I have, power tools or air tools, I guess you could say. And all I did was just remove the brake clips from the old one to this one here, which, they were new and only been on there a few months. But anyway, let's get this thing greased up with this brake grease stuff. so the brakes, you know, slide in there good, and get it on there and see what I had. Take it for a drive and see what happens. But anyway, if you're having the you know, similar experience where you're putting the brakes on, let off, and it sounds like you have bad brakes, but you just replaced everything, and the only thing you didn't replace was this bracket. Well, a lot of times these pins and stuff, well, I can't get that one out with my hand. The other one just slides right out easy, but as you can see, they're stuck, and it's just because of all the debris and everything that was in there, and that's the reason why there's just no movement whatsoever. And they're supposed to be side to side movement this way, and there's not any really. So we're going to put this new one on here that I should have done to begin with, instead of trying to cheap out and wuss out on it. Get it in there and see what happens, and if it works and everything's fine, then maybe I'll pass this along to you in a video, make up you out a little bit. But anyway, Car Wash Garage, peace out. Alright guys, I got this brand new bracket that I should have left on this caliper on here finally. And the caliper bolts are the ones that hold the caliper to the bracket itself. Supposed to be torqued, from what I understand, to 44 foot-pounds, and then the bolts that hold the bracket to the rotor, or actually, I don't know what you'd call this arm here. I'm not even going to try to look it up. I'm just so tired. I could look it up and be more professional. I know this says Paul Bart's Garage, but it should have been named Retard Garage. But anyway, the two bolts that hold the caliper bracket on, I think I went 70 foot-pounds of torque. That's just what I was able to look up and find. So 70 for the two bolts that hold the caliper bracket on, and then 44 foot-pounds for the bolts that holds the caliper to the caliper bracket. So hopefully this helps you out. I'm gonna drive it around to see if, you know, if I'm still getting that noise. A lot of times when you're installing brakes and stuff, you lay stuff on top of this heat shield here, and it'll bend it, and it'll cause it to rub on the rotor also. So you may want to check that also. I have found that to be a problem sometimes. When you lay stuff on top of it, it'll bend it on it, and you get this noise like, dang, I just changed the brakes. Sounds similar to the noise I'm getting here, but that was the first thing I checked, and there was nothing there. But anyway, hopefully this fixes this noise, because it's driving me nuts. And the other thing I'm gonna have to do is replace this. I guess this will be the upper control arm, and sooner or later I'm gonna replace this, put a new one. There's a tubular one you can get that has the ball joint that you can actually oil, and as you can see, this one's flattened out, so that might be some of the noise I'm getting there. And I'm going to change the struts out one of these days. I should have changed them out when I changed the springs out, but you know, really they're just really not that hard to get out. In about an hour or so you can have it out, or less, if you got air tools. But anyway, get this wheel back on and get it down the road and see if that was my culprit or my problem. Anyway, I'll let you know. Paul Bart's Garage, peace out.